There we go. Mike is officially working. Thank God. Apologies about that. Let me just fix this. There we go. I think that should be working as well for some reason. That wasn't. But here we go. Yeah. Welcome back, everyone, to Amethyst Racing here in Kota. Hello, Alex. Yes, we are here. It is Tier 1 time, and it is, and we are getting ready for the sprint. We have the new overlay nice and sorted. And we are gonna... That timing board is not working. I don't think so. Yes, it is. Log on, you fat child. Hello, Spiking, and thank you for the subscription. Let's get everything working. I believe that is the correct one. So we are going to watch Bean, who I believe is first out on track. I don't actually have a track map. I'll have to sort that for next time. But yeah, we are here in Kota after last week's pretty, let's say, interesting Tier 1 race. There wasn't that many people, but we do have a surplus today. We have about 17 drivers out on track, and that is someone ahead of Bean, and I don't know who because I don't have a freaking track map. Can I have that up? I can. Right, there we go. Right, first out on track is a Williams. Who would that be? Would that be Myron Peel down in 13th? It is Myron Peel down in 13th. Here we go. He's going to start his lap. We can get through tricky little left-hander and getting slowed down, ready to start his lap. Accelerating towards the line now. DRS open, and we're going to switch on board with him. We have no halo for this, unfortunately, but down into turn 1, or up into turn 1, I should say. He misses that apex by quite a lot. That was not an ideal racing line from him, but down the hill and turning right to come through the S section. Very easy to invalidate, but absolutely satisfying when you do get it right, hanging it right. And the end of Sector 1, that is a purple Sector 1, of course. 25.44 Myron Peel. Not too great, if I do say so myself, but down towards the corner just before the long back straight. Here, getting the car nice and hooked up, accelerating out the corner, third gear, hitting that accelerator as if there was an egg underneath it, being sure not to crack it. DRS open down the hill towards the end of Sector 2. Sector 2, not too many corners, but he's got that braking point a little bit late. He misses that apex. He can cut that corner a lot more, and someone has gone quicker in Sector 1. I believe it will be the Mercedes just behind of Bean. Obviously, last race winner here in Amethyst. He won in Hungary against Leo Lund. Excellent performance from the both of them. But through the flat-out right-hander we go with Myron Peel in that Williams, flicking it left and down the hill, and he invalidates his lap. So we are going to switch back to Bean, who is P6. Yeah, and he has managed to not invalidate, unlike Myron Peel hanging it left into the final corner we go. And I almost spoke too soon, but he goes a bit wide. That's a 32-1 from Bean. That is a Ferrari. Next across the line of, I'd like to say who it is, as Skowski goes P2. The 32-2. Sorry, I'm struggling with the new layout. I'm not quite used to this. Ratcliffe goes second. Balaj hitting 31.7. First one into the 31s here in Kota, with Schumacher just behind with a 7.95 in that Haas. We're going to look a bit further back to Gotting. Down in, is it P11 or P12? He crosses the line. Is that a lap time? No, not quite, as Edward goes P3 with a 32.1. Bit of a gap between Schumacher and the Red Bull driver of Edward. That is an AlphaTauri across the line now. That is Leo Lund, a 10th ahead of Balaj and 2/10 ahead of Schumacher. Schumacher and Lund obviously having a bit of a battle in Bahrain towards the start of the season as Harrington in the Haas goes P7. He's now been crossing the line, I believe. That is Piper. No, I can't get it right. I can't see the numbers. But Piper goes... Is that Piper? I don't know. Apparently it's Ricardo, which I can't imagine is correct. We are missing a few numbers here. This is Molo, I believe. I have to... As Ratcliffe and Balaj and now Molo come into the pits after doing their hot laps. So the current order at the moment is Lund, Balaj, not Mick Schumacher. I can't speak. Ah, Jesus. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Schumacher in P3 with Edward in P4, reserving for the Red Bull team with being in P5. He's had a strong performance as of lately. Ratcliffe in P6. He was running third for a lot of the race last week in Hungary, so he's also not doing too bad. Harrington in P7, Gotting 8. We have an Alpine, and I'm not actually sure who that is, so I will have to double check, because we have Alonso, Leclerc, Stroll in here as well. I'm not quite sure that is correct, but we are going to switch down to P13. Is it P13? No. Is it... What is going on? I can't... I'm trying to figure out how to use this. As Myron Peel starts his lap once again. Coming into the first sector we go. Once again, very beautiful and very satisfying when you get it right, which he has seemed to do pretty well. A little bit of understeer coming out of there, but he's managed to get the car nice and hooked up. He's 600ths off Leo Lund, which would, as of now, put him P2 on the leaderboard, just in front of Kevin Balaj, who's making his return to Amethyst. We haven't seen him since season 7, I want to say. Maybe it was season 6, I'm not quite sure. But down towards the end of Sector 2 we go, down the hill. Beautiful, beautiful looking car is that Williams, dark blue and some red accents as well. That is a yellow Sector 2. He's 4/10 down on Leo Lund now, which will put him around P4-ish. He's getting the car nice and hooked up for the final sector. And into the flat-out right-hander we go. No lifting, just full commitment, trusting the machine that is underneath you, flicking it left. Seeing the downforce of these F123 cars really just... I did not see that testing stuff. Thank you, Duck. And across the line we go. That's PLP8 with a 32.4. But yes, I will remove that. Thank you for reminding me. I do actually very much appreciate that. So I'm going to hide that. There we go. We are back up and running. Thank you very, very much. As we're going to look a bit further back. As Smith, I believe that is. And Leo Lund with a 5-place grid penalty. And I'm not sure what's happened there, but we're going to look at him. He was 900 up. No? I'm not sure. Was there any contact? I honestly don't know. Piper, that PYP is Piper, I think. I don't know. I actually... I don't know the names, alright? I didn't know he was racing. I didn't actually... I'm very confused as of now. Let me have a look. Let's see if I can get the actual names up. I am gonna. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna watch Leo Lund start his lap, but I am gonna put the original leaderboard up because it is easier to deal with at the moment. I'll do a bit of fixing later on and have it sorted for tier 2. And Leo Lund in the first sector, he's hooking that up very nicely. He's got a lot of downforce in that AlphaTauri. He's 600s up on his original time, his banker here in short qualifying. This is a sprint weekend, of course, so there will be no lobby restart, even though he does have a 5-place grid penalty. So he's going to have to stick with that. Onto the long straight we go, making sure not to get any oversteer, and he's managed that very, very well, controlling the car very nicely. Is Kevin Balaj with a 31.3, 2/10 ahead of Leo Lund. What can Leo Lund do to answer to the Alfa Romeo driver? Into the end of Sector 2 we go, and into Sector 3, the trickiest of all these, and he's only 500 up on his time, but Sector 3 is where you can find the most amount of time on par with Sector 1, and he gets a bit of oversteer on the exit of that. Bit too eager to get his throttle down to get out of that corner and onto the penultimate corner we go, and he runs wide, he invalidates, so into the pits Leo Lund comes. And meanwhile, I'm just going to do that. There we go. We've got that up, and that is easier to deal with. I'm sorry, Connor, but I was trying to... we've got all the names now. So, one of the Alpines, Rulaton, down in P17. That is who it was. And Gotting went through the flat-out right-hander, but that is another AlphaTauri of Kiziel, who goes to P15 with a 33.1. Gotting into the penultimate corner and out of it, into the final corner now. Getting the car, he's got a bit of understeer there from the looks of it, but he goes P7 with a 32.2. We're going to look a bit further behind as Rulaton goes P4 in that Alpine. He looks to have been blocked there by Edward, who's starting his lap. Look a bit further back to Smith down in P14. He comes into the pit after most likely backing out of his lap, but we're going to have a look at Van Basten, who comes through the final corner to finish his lap towards the line. It's P7 for the Alpine driver, and only 2/10 behind his teammate, 2.5 tenths behind his teammate as Prank comes into the pits. I forgot. This is a bit of a this is a bit of a mess. I do not have a lot of the names on. So Sven Schumacher, Leo Lund, Kevin Balaj. I do need to fix a lot of them. It's Gotting. No, it is Mr. Soy Bean who comes into the pit. I'm not sure he was doing too well on his lap, so we're going to look a bit further back. Is that Edward? Has he got round? No. Is it the guy's name that I can't pronounce? No one can apply a number correctly. You are correct. Towards the line, and he stays P15. We're going to look a bit further back to his teammate Edward, who crosses the line to maybe start his lap? No, to end his lap, and he's 500ths behind Bean, stays P6. I'm not sure he's going to get another chance at another lap as Kevin Balaj out onto the track. He's very, very quick. Very quick driver. That has shown in previous races. And you can see on the leaderboard now... Kevin... What was that? Anyway. Through the F section, he's going very slowly, of course. He's not on a lap quite yet, but he's wanting to go very early for some reason. Penalty for that. Quite possibly Khan. Quite possibly. As there is a hat out on lap. That is Mr. Jack Harrington, or Jacques Harrington, I should say. He's back at Haas. I haven't seen him since, I believe it was Spain, as the Rebel driver manages to get his way past him, possibly to try and get into the pits, try and get another lap in, or no, maybe he was finishing his lap. He goes up to P14, so it looks like Jack Harrington may have blocked him, but is he going for a second outlap, because his ERS is now officially on. He's on his final lap, I believe. Coming into turn 1 we go. He hooks the car up very nicely down the hill into the first sector, turning right, and Edward is out of the session. He has retired in the pits, into the right-hander, into the left, and back to the right. This S section is unforgiving but satisfying when you get it right. 4/10 down on his previous time. I believe he forgot to turn on ERS once again. Balaj going to start his lap, so we are going to switch back to him because we want to see if he can set a quicker lap than before. We're going to ride on board with him, watch the magic happen as we head up towards turn 1, braking as late as possible and getting the car turned in. And he hooks that. He hooks the Alfa Romeo up very nicely, clips that inside curb without bouncing over it into the S section. It's left, it's right, it's back to the left, and it's back to the right for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's managed that pretty nicely. A little bit of understeer, but he's 400ths up on his previous time. He's on the limits of track limits, but he's not invalidating. Let me see the speeds. We get telemetry up onto, that's not what I want, onto the back straight we go, DRS, and the shortest line possible. There we go. Down the hill towards the end of Sector 2. Once again, braking late and cutting that inside curb as much as possible, which he has done very nicely. Back out wide for the Hungarian driver. At the end of Sector 2, he's 700ths up on his time. It's 2 purple sectors for the Alfa Romeo driver. David Ducker making a very nice signing for reserve. Kevin Balaj is back. And through the flat right-hander we go into the penultimate corner. 2 more corners to go. Can he hold the lap together? He has done very nicely. Once again on track limits. On the limit of track limits. But towards the line we go, almost invalidating. He improves. It's a 31-2 for Kevin Balaj. We're going to look back to Leo Lund. Down the back straight we come. 50% ERS for, I believe it's Swedish. Correct me if I'm wrong. Towards the end of Sector 2 we go. He is not improved in his first sector, maybe blocked. I'm not quite sure, but he's 2.5 tenths down. At this rate, he is not improving, and he's not beating Kevin Balaj. He's going to have to find 4 tenths in the final sector alone, which is going to be very difficult for this AlphaTauri driver. Into the penultimate corner we go. Rebel driver just ahead of him towards the final corner and through the final corner, accelerating out of it on track limit. DRS towards the line. He does improve, but it's not enough to best Kevin Balaj. Back to Sven Schumacher across the line. He sticks it P3. Who's next across the line? I believe that is Prank. Across the line, he improves to P7. Not enough doing for him as Conor Ratcliffe goes P9. A bit further back we have, is that Gotting? That is Gotting across the line. He goes P9. Soybean, what can he do? Stays P5. Van Basten, Rico Van Basten. That is not Rico Van Basten. It is Rolleton who goes P2. He gets ahead of Leo Lund. That's a 31-3 stonking lap for him. But we are going to look back to no one else because no one else is on their lap. And that is Kevin Balaj on his return to Amethyst Racing. It is a pole position for him, a 10th clear of anyone else in the field. Fantastic performance from him. And onto the sprint. What can he do in the final sessions of this weekend in the sprint race? and the feature race. So it is Kevin Balaj on pole with Rulaton P2. Excellent performance from the Alpine driver. And Leo Lund, the qualifying king, has not been able to get himself above P3. Sprint madness, here we come. I'm excited for this. I must admit, I'm excited for this. I'm going to turn that off. So here is your current order. Kevin Balaj sits in P1 with Rulaton, and Leo Lund is Swedish. I got that right. With Rulaton P2, besting Leo Lund in P3, with Sven Schumacher rounding out the second row. It's Soybean in P5 with Edward joining him on the third row. Prank, Van Basten, Gotting and Ratcliffe round out the top 10 here in Cota. Smith P11, Jack Harrington P12, not being able to get any higher for him. With Molo down in P13, not managing to match his teammates' performances, with Skowski and the Greek guy that I can't pronounce his name or remember his name. No, there is no restart. As we get ready for the sprint race here in what is his name? Nicolaides, that's it. Kizio. As we get ready for the sprint race here in Cota, it's Kevin Balaj lining up in P1 with Rulaton in P2 just behind. We're going to get rid of that, and it's lights out and away we go. Kevin Balaj not getting the best start, but Rulaton jumps him into turn 1. Rulaton on the outside, Kevin Balaj on the... Rulaton on the inside, Kevin Balaj on the outside. Sven Schumacher up into P3 with Leo Lund dropping down to P4. Soybean sticking P5. Through the S section we go. That is a front wing bouncing off one of the cars. I'm not sure who that is, but we are going to bring up the... thing once again. It's Myron Peel and Jack Harrington battling out down in P12 with Smith and Molo also side by side into the next corner. There are no moves so far, but we are going to look a bit further back to this battle for P12 and Molo hanging on in there. Jack Harrington dropped down a few positions, maybe one I think. Down the main straight we come. We're going to switch back to the front, see if there are any moves being made as Edward is trying to find a way past. And there is absolute chaos at the back of the grid. Molo side by side with Jack Harrington into the final sector. It's 3 wide for the drivers just behind with Nicolaides, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Into the third sector we go. A little bit of contact from all these drivers, but Skowski down in P17, not being able to do any better than that. As we switch back to the front, Kevin Balaj sticking well with the Alpine driver of Rulaton. Has time to talk about... Die. I hope you die. There seems to be someone going a bit wide as Rulaton sets the fastest lap of the race. Prank down in P8, going side by side with Edward into the first turn, and Ratcliffe looking to get a piece of that. Edward going a bit wide, getting a bit squiggly on exit, but they're side by side coming into the S section in sector 1, but they've managed to get through pretty nicely. Rulaton dropping Kevin Balaj, dropping Kevin Balaj off. Rulaton is the Alpine driver. That is not who I wanted. P15 for Skowski, and they're 3 wide into the tricky uphill right-hander. There's a bit more contact between Nicolaides, Jack Harrington and Skowski. The 3-way battle continues, but we are going to switch back to the front to see if there are any moves being made. The current order: Rulaton, Kevin Balaj, Sven Schumacher, Leo Lund only managing to stick to P4 at the moment. Soybean P5, Gotting P6 is a 5-6 for the Mercedes drivers, 7 for rank, 8th for Ratcliffe. Edward dropping down to 9th with Van Basten rounding out the top 10. Myron Peel down in P11, not the best of races for him. Molo in P12, not matching Kevin Ballag's performances at the moment. He's not been able to stick with him. And Jack Harrington down in P15, still battling out with Nicolaides for P15. And they're going side by side into the final corner as Nicolaides slips through on the inside. And we are going to switch back to Edward, who's just behind. But no, Rico Van Basten and Myron Peel side by side into turn 1. Myron Peel slipping up the inside and getting past Rico Van Basten in that Alpine. Got a lovely helicopter view as we see the leaders going through onto the run down to the main back straight, where most moves will be made this race. But turn 1 seems to be a hot spot for overtakes at the moment, and Rico Van Basten he's under pressure from Molo into turn in, I don't know what turn that is, but onto the main straight, and Molo has made that move done. He has got that move done just before the main straight, as they all have DRS. And we're going to switch back to the front. Kevin Ballage gaining a bit on Rolaton. Sven Schumacher not really gaining too much on Kevin Ballage. The top 4 seem to be nice and spread out, but Soybean sticking well with the top 4 drivers, all of them extremely high level, with Kevin Ballage being a previous what is it, Challenger Series, I believe it's called, Challenger Series driver. And Kevin Ballage has gained a bit on Rolaton in the final sector. I love watching this man drive. He is absolutely amazing, but not as amazing as Leo Lund, the obvious Amethyst Racing generational talent. I think that is what everybody is referring to him as. Absolutely amazing driver. He has shown that in previous races. Not too much happening here at the moment, but the big news is Rolaton leading the sprint race. I don't know. Kevin Ballage is just sitting back a little bit to try and I don't know, stick with him to the end. Maybe get the move done in one of the final few laps. But a massive train that Rolaton is leading all the way down to P12. Obviously, only 8 drivers, the top 8, scoring points in the sprint race. And that is Leo Lund making a move on Sven Schumacher. Kevin Ballage is sticking behind till a couple laps before, I'd imagine. There's a purple sector too, though. Unsurprisingly, with the DRS and the ERS usage, I would imagine to get past Sven Schumacher and now start his hunt on Kevin Ballage, the Hungarian Alfa Romeo driver. Oh, I hate you, Harris. I hate you so much. But Gotting dropping off the back of his teammate, 1.3 seconds separate these, and Leo Lund with the fastest lap of the race, even in that dirty air, with a 34.7. He's going to want him to get past Kevin Ballage pretty soon, I would imagine. I couldn't agree more. If I'm honest. Bean is fantastic driver, and he proved that last week with that race win. He did very, very well against this man right here, generational talent, who got a bit of oversteer by the looks of it, got a bit of a wiggle on in that AlphaTauri car. Myron Peel down in P10. I did once lose a race to Myron Peel because I'm so fat and weight kept me down. But that's not what we're here to talk about, as his teammate is all over the back of the Mercedes driver of Gotting. Gotting is not going to have DRS, as we are going to look back to the front as Leo Lund sticking behind Ballage into the next corner. Edward a 10th behind Conor Ratcliffe, trying to get past possibly, but Ratcliffe holding his own for that final points playing position. Bean dropping out of DRS of Sven Schumacher. But Edward up the inside, stunning move from the Red Bull reserve on Conor Ratcliffe, and they are going side by side through this fast, flat-out right-hander into the penultimate corner. Conor Ratcliffe on the outside. He's going to have to back out. There is no chance he could have gone side by side there without contact, without ending his race, but he is all over the back of the Red Bull driver, and somehow they have not dropped out of DRS of Gotting, as Kevin Balaj only a tenth off the back of Rulaton. He is all over his gearbox, not quite looking for a way to get past, I would imagine, as Bean has really dropped off the back of Sven Schumacher now. That DRS keeping him out of DRS. Conor Ratcliffe and Edward still battling out through the first sector, tight S's. We're going to switch back to the front as Rulaton. Onto the main straight we go. One more corner for that, and it's going to have DRS for Kevin Balaj and Leo Lund and Sven Schumacher. So Rulaton is going to have to defend with his life. We're going to ride on board with Kevin Balaj with the DRS. And he looks for a move up the inside towards the end of Sector 2. And he's made that move quite nicely, quite easily. Rulaton did not really battle him too much, as Gotting and Edward going side by side. That looks to have been a bit of contact, as they're all a bit muddled up. Myron Peel looking for a way past Conor Ratcliffe, but there's no doing for him. Round the outside goes Myron Peel, and he's shown the runoff by the McLaren driver of Conor Ratcliffe, also the McLaren team principal. But as it stands, Kevin Balaj back into the lead, as that's Molo looking for a move on the inside into the penultimate corner. That was very risky from him, as Myron Peel sends it back up the inside with a little bit of a switchback. A little bit of action going on. It was hard to get a camera angle for that. In the Sector 1 S section, I'm not too sure, Jack, if I'm honest. Rico van Basten in the Alpine, though, trying to get past Molo in the Alfa Romeo, once again not living up to his teammate standards, who is currently P1, leading Rulaton in the Alpine, who is doing extremely well. I actually haven't seen him perform this well in the past, but he seems to be doing so, with Leo Lund just sitting behind in P3 in that AlphaTauri, and Sven Schumacher chilling in P4, not looking to make any moves as of now. But Bean and Prank looking to go side by side are Edward and Gotting, with Conor Ratcliffe and Myron Peel and Molo all battling just behind. We're going to switch back to Molo, who was having a little bit of a... and that looks to be Myron Peel getting a bit of oversteer. Van Basten also looking for a move on this driver now. Hydrant, for God's sake. Oh. Why are you making my life difficult? Peter. God damn it. Kevin Balaj leading the pack now. We're on lap 8 of 10. Only a few more laps will these drivers have to get past. And Conor Ratcliffe side by side with Gotting for the final points playing position. Down into the S section we go. Gotting on the soft compound tyres by the looks of it, with Conor Ratcliffe on the medium compound tyres. Still not finding a way past, but Gotting gets a bit of oversteer. Conor Ratcliffe looking for a move. Round the outside he goes. What a move from the McLaren driver, but he is not going to have DRS down the back straight now. We're going to switch back to the front, though, because Rulaton is only 3.5 tenths behind Kevin Balaj. Potts, man, why? As Rulaton and Leo Lund make a move on Kevin Balaj, and Leo Lund, and it's 3 wide into the Sector 3 we go. There's more contact. Kevin Balaj round the outside, and Rulaton up into P1, Leo Lund up into P2, but Kevin Balaj on the inside of all two of the drivers, Leo Lund and Kevin Balaj, going side by side through this flat out right-hander. We're going to switch back to Leo Lund. He's going to have bit of a better view of this. Kevin Balazs leaving room, even though he didn't have to, side by side into the final corner. Rulaton will be thanking the gods for this, and Sven Schumacher will be rubbing his fingers together, thinking, oh yes, and he looks for a move on Leo Lund. Into turn 1 we go. Late braking from Sven Schumacher. He's made that move on Leo Lund. Leo Lund back down to P4. Sven Schumacher up into P3 with Kevin Balazs in P2. Sitting back behind Rulaton once again. Conor Ratcliffe up into P8. Myron Peel up into P9 and Gotting down into P10 in the Mercedes on those soft compound tyres. Oh, that was a lot of action going on in that sector. I don't know. I was losing my words. But once again, Kevin Balazs, he's going to be wanting to make this move either next lap or this lap on Rulaton. He's going to have the long back straight to himself. He's not really at threat from any drivers behind. Sven Schumacher just chilling, not making a move or looking to make a move. And shit, to drink the fuck up. I will in a minute, bro. I will in a minute. It's Kevin Balazs still looking to get P1 as Kizzy a bit further back. In the AlphaTauri, battling with Nicolaides. There's a little bit of contact from the Red Bull and AlphaTauri drivers, the two sister teams, as Nicolaides looking to make his way past the AlphaTauri driver. But for the final lap, for the final time, it's down the pit straight for the top 4 for Kevin Balazs and Rulaton. Kevin Balazs looking to make a move on this lap for the sprint race win. And it has been said in chat, but if Leo Lund gets 19 points this weekend, he wins the championship, I believe. If I'm not saying that. Oh, do I have to say that? Do I really have to plug it? As Rulaton gets a 3-second time penalty coming out of the S section here in Kota. He's not going to have a chance at winning this race. But as of now, Kevin Balazs is your sprint race winner. But I don't believe he needs to make a move on Rulaton, and he isn't going to. There is no point in him doing that. With Sven Schumacher sitting behind in P3, he's happy with his podium position. With a bit further back as Gotting and Van Basten battling for P10 and P11, but no moves being made at the moment as Sven Schumacher looks for a wider line to get a better exit out of this corner, and he gets oversteer. Leo Lund is through into P3. Will Rank be able to get through in P5? No, he does not. Rulaton is going to be your on-track winner here in Kota, but Kevin Balazs takes the sprint race win with Leo Lund in P2 in the AlphaTauri. Sven Schumacher still takes P3 because of Rulaton's 3-second time penalty. Prank in P5, making up a few positions from his qualifying position. P6 for the Mercedes driver of Bean, who finished P1 last week in... there is no restart in Hungary. With Edward in P7 and Conor Ratcliffe rounding out the top 8 and the points. Oh my god! Hold on, let me block these guys. Manage. Do apologise. Manage. Local communication. Monk. Blockable communication. Pavik. Block all communication. There we go. And that is your sprint race finishing positions here in Kota. Kevin Balazs winning the sprint race. P1 for the Hungarian driver, with Leo Lund sitting behind in P2, managing to improve his qualifying position from P3. Sven Schumacher sitting in P3, the Dutch driver in the Haas, making his return to Amethyst once again. P3 for him. Oh, okay. We are restarting then for Lund's 5-place grid penalty. So I do apologise for the misinformation, but we will be back after intermission. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Code to Tier 1. I do apologise for the wait. I didn't realise it was going to be a lobby restart, but we are back. We are getting ready. Don't scam us. What do you mean don't scam us? I'll read it out later on in the race, alright? Everybody please don't forget your setups. What even was it? Are you looking for competitively priced official licensed F1 merchandise? Check out HTTPS, Fueler Store, Ref, Amethyst, and use code Amethyst Racing for 10% off your order. You happy now? That's a big weapon, sir. Need more bullets. 69 Hydra. Good God. Good news for you. I've got a couple JD and Coke cans, so. No, that is plenty. That is plenty. Oh, yeah. 71, 72, 73. 74, 75, 76, God dice. That's 80, 81, 83. Good God. I hate you all. I turned off notifications, man. Here we go then. For 5 red lights. And it's 5 red lights out. And away we go. Leo Lund gets the better start. He gets the jump on Balaj. Down into turn 1 we go. Balaj dropping back as Sven Schumacher and Larsen side by side into turn 1 we go. Balaj is forced off the track. Down into sector 1. It's side by side for the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo. Terrible start. Dismal for Balaj. Dropping down to P4 from P1 further back. There is a bit of contact between Skowski and Smith. The side by side comes Balaj and Larsen. At the end of sector 2, and Edward slips round up the inside of Balaj, and they're still side by side down towards the long back straight we go as Sven Schumacher up into P1 he goes past Leo Lund. It's Larsen P3, Edward and Balaj side by side coming, and that's contact. That is Gotting spun round by, I'm not sure who he was spun round by, but down the back straight we go. It's Leo Lund all over the back of Sven Schumacher towards the end of sector 2. It's side by side for Bean and Prank, I believe that is. It was a better camera angle, please. The Williams drivers side by side, and Conor Ratcliffe battling with Myron Peel for P8. And Myron Peel for the switchback. It's Myron Peel on the inside of Conor Ratcliffe in the final sector. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. But Myron Peel round the outside of Conor Ratcliffe. What a move from the Dutch driver in that Williams car. Fantastic move from him. As we start the second lap, is Sven Schumacher leaning us over the line with Leo Lund just behind. Larsen eyeing up a move on the AlphaTauri driver, but he's going to stick behind for now. Kevin Balaj dropping off the back of the front 3 in the Alfa Romeo, having a dismal start from... is he overweight? He sounds... Stop bullying me, man. Edward P5, followed by Bean in P6. Prank dropping down into P7 with Myron Peel making a few positions off the race star up into P8. Conor Ratcliffe and Smith also making up a few positions. Rounding out the final 10 are the McLaren drivers. With that look like Nicolaides and Kvyat going side by side, was it? No, it was Nicolaides and Kvyat going side by side. They're still going side by side as we move back to the front. As Leo Lund is side by side with Larsen, he shows him the run off. Balaj looking to stick his front wing in the play, and that is Kevin Balaj taking out Larsen. Oh my. Oh dear. Yeah, Kevin Balaj is down in P15. He's taken him out of the race as Peel is promoted to P5, getting past his teammate of Prank in P6. Larson dropping down to P7. That leaves Sven Schumacher and Leo Lund out in front, with Leo Lund setting the fastest lap of the race. I imagine Balaj is going to get a massive penalty for that, but Edward looking to defend up to turn 1 we go. And Myron Peel with the switchback into turn 1, slipping up the inside. Generational Bean up into P3 as well. Myron Peel, excuse me, as Kevin Balaj does DNF. He retires in the pits, I believe. As Edward might have left the race. He has. As looks like a little bit of contact between Rank and Larson there. And Van Basten and Harrington down in P15 and P16, not having the best races. But that is Skalski going side by side with Molo into the corner just before the long straight. Smith and Ratcliffe up into P8 and 9. Edward dropping down the order because of him being in AI. We're going to look a bit further ahead. And that is Prank clear of the drivers just behind. And Larson is back into P6 with Conor Ratcliffe going side by side with the AI of Edward. I don't know if he's back driving yet, but Molo up into P9 past Conor Ratcliffe's teammate Smith. And Conor Ratcliffe looking for a move up the inside of Edward. It looks like Edward is back in the race. He goes off the track and keeps his position. I'm not sure how fair that was, but Larson only 3/10 off the back of Rank, and yes, you are right. Edward is slow through the S's. Yeah, it was because of his... was that a Red Bull slowing down as Skalski in that Ferrari? He's got the special livery on, the red and yellow. He's past Nicoladis, or he's defending from Nicoladis. I'm not sure what the deal was there. I do need to turn on track map as we get a lovely view there. Track map, full map, map data enabled, why not? Detail. Van Basten sets the fastest lap of the race. So here we go, position changes in this race. Sven Schumacher up 2 positions into P1. Leo Lund staying put in P2 for him, with that look like Gotting and Nicoladis going side by side. As Leo Lund is through on Sven Schumacher. He's into P1. You got the move done just before that corner after the long straight. And Prank is past his teammate of Myron Peel. Looked to be a pretty interesting battle going on back there. So we are going to have a look as Larson is eyeing up a move on Myron Peel. He's not finding a way through as of now. Molo up 5 positions from P14. He's up into P9 now in this race. It's a long race ahead of us, and I think we should probably have a look at tyre choices, actually. See who's going to be pitting first, who's going to be pitting last. Here we go, we're going to keep that one on. It is the front 2 who've gapped Bean by 3 seconds now. They're on the soft compound tyres, and Sven Schumacher only 2/10 behind. Leo Lund sticking pretty well through the first sector. He seems to be doing wonders compared to the sprint race, who he couldn't find any way to get past Larson, but Larson, I believe it was Larson, got that snap of oversteering the fast right-hander, but Molo with a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help his race, even because he is already down in P9. And Sven Schumacher up into P1 once again. Looks like they're just DRSing their way out of contention of Bean, as Larson looks for a move on Myron Peel. He goes very deep, and Peel is off the track. He's shown the runoff. I'm sure that will get removed, that time penalty. As Larson looking for a move on Myron Peel. Can't find a way past quite yet, but he takes a tighter line than Peel. They're going to go side by side through the flat out right-hander. as Rolaton in the Alpine, sorry, Larson in the Alpine, still can't find a way past that Williams of Myron Peel. Larson on the soft compound tyres, Peel, Prank and Bean all on the medium compound tyres. Larson going to be looking for a way to get past Peel as Gotting gets a 3-second time penalty. Larson up the inside into turn 1. It's Myron Peel around the outside. There's a little bit of contact between the two, and it is Edward 3 wide, making it 3 wide into the S section we go. They're still side by side, are Peel and Larson, but there is room left as Edward has to take avoiding action. And there is contact with Edward and Larson as Edward goes tumbling down the order. He's parked on track back there. He looked to have hit the front wheel of Larson as he carried more speed into that corner, which just spun him round. He could do absolutely nothing about that. As Leo Lund is going to get past Sven Schumacher once again. They're pulling well clear of Bean as of now. Leo Lund getting a bit of oversteer, or locking the rears possibly into the turn after the long straight, and Edward gets overtaken by his teammate Nicolaitis for this race. Edward with no front wing now. He's going to have to pit before the end of this lap, or he's going to be in big trouble. So the current order then, top 10 is Leo Lund. As of now, Leo Lund will win the championship here in Amethyst Racing, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Someone double check that, please. But Leo Lund leading Sven Schumacher in the AlphaTauri from Bean, who's once again doing extremely well, sitting up there in the top few positions. He's had a run of good performances as of late, and he's looking to continue that streak. It looks like the only reason he's losing out to Sven Schumacher and Leo Lund is because of that DRS, because he's sticking excellently with them through the S section. As Prank down in P4 leads his teammate Myron Peel. 2.3 seconds separate those two, with Peel getting that 3-second penalty for, I'd imagine, unfair reasons. I haven't looked at the incident properly, but I'm guessing there's going to be a few reports coming from this race. As Sven Schumacher back up into P1. Leo Lund's not fighting it. They are just DRS training their way out of Bean's threat as Peel gets overtaken by Larson, and it looks to be Conor Ratcliffe looking to eye up Peel into the third sector, maybe braking later into this corner. That is a very good overtaking opportunity. Heavy braking zone. He sticks his front wing at the inside of the Williams driver, but there is no way to get past him just yet. So currently Larson up into P5 after being taken out by Kevin Balaj. His temperament getting his temper getting the best of him there. Clearly not very happy with the Alpine driver. I'm not sure what happened, but I just saw 2 cars streaking across the bottom of my screen. And that was Kevin Balaj taking Larson out. So I think the real race here will be tyres. We are on lap 8 of 28. Not much has happened yet. But we are going to see a bit more action, hopefully, later on in the race. Sven Schumacher leading Leo Lund in that AlphaTauri. Leo Lund does not have to do anything but finish P4 in this race to win the championship here today at Kota, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken, but that will be a fantastic feat for him. 2 races ahead of the end of the season, and he would have won the championship in for AlphaTauri, as Molo gets past. Skalski gets past Molo, and Kiziel in the AlphaTauri gets past Solis Gotting in that Mercedes. The German driver not doing too well as of now, especially compared to his teammate. He was running a lot higher, but if I'm not mistaken, he had a little bit of a spin, but he's looking at the inside of Kiziel once again in the third sector. He's round the outside of the AlphaTauri driver through this flat-out right-hander into the penultimate corner. Will Gotting back out? Yes, he does. And I think he was forced to there. And there's a little bit of contact between him and Kvyat. Kvyat just going a bit too slow for Gotting through that corner. And Molo is into the pits on those soft compound tyres. Is this where we start to see the soft runners come into the pits? And it looks like Conor Ratcliffe and Myron Peel side by side into the S section. Myron Peel staying ahead once again. Larson and Peel did that a couple laps earlier, obviously causing the contact between Edwards and the Alpine driver. But they've done well not to end up in any barriers and not to crash with anyone, as Kvyat gets a 3-second time penalty, sitting down in P10. And Sven Schumacher does overtake Leo Lund once again. Bean sticking really well with them. His ERS is looking pretty good. 3.2 seconds as Bean gets a bit of oversteer. My heart dropped then. I did not want him to spin around. And Gotting up into the points playing positions. He's up into 10th place, with Skowski having a mega race so far. He's chilling in P9. Ratcliffe, though, who we are riding on board with in the McLaren, he's got a pretty nice helmet on at the moment. Doesn't look too bad. It actually goes pretty well with the McLaren car. Myron Peel sticking well with Larson, running wide on the exit of that penultimate corner there. Not much action happening, if I'm honest. Myron Peel possibly looking to eye up a move on Larson into turn 1. No, he wants to stick behind for the next long DRS straight between these guys. Sven Schumacher, though, back up into P1. There is not much happening at the moment. I may do some of my hydrates, all 90 of them. Good God. Well, Leo Lund just sitting behind. He's using a bit of ERS. He wants to get past Sven Schumacher, who's got a bit more ERS. I believe Leo Lund will be coming into the pits this lap, as we're going to have a look at Myron Peel, who's opened his DRS to get past Larson in the Alpine, and he has done so. Conor Ratcliffe just eyeing up these two, hoping for them to maybe have a bit of a collision. 93. Good God. Why? Peel is well clear of Larson now. This is not a very entertaining race, can be said. I don't know what to talk about. We are going to have a look to see if Larson does come into the pits. No, he stays out. And so does Leo Lund and Sven Schumacher and every other soft runner as of now. Wonder when they will be coming into the pits, as Nicolaides is into the pits. So by the looks of it, after Molo pitted pretty early and Nicolaides is now into the pits, I'd imagine the pit stops will be coming in the next couple of laps. As of now, we're just going to stick with this battle, this three-way battle between the McLaren driver, the Alpine driver, and the Williams driver of Peel, Larson, and Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe being the McLaren TP, of course, and his teammate sticking well with him in P8. It's a 7-8 for McLaren. Ratcliffe also having a good run of performances so far. Tell us about Myron Peel and you in Season 4. Oh, good stories, but that's going to have to wait because Larson is looking to eye up a move. No, he's not. Larson not eyeing up a move just yet. Maybe he'll come into the pits this lap. Who knows? Who knows? So you want me to talk about Myron Peel and me in Season 4. Oh, how's that going to go? You heard the GOAT prevented Peel from winning the championship. Well, I mean, it was Dirk Hoosenveld who did hold Peel up in the final sector in Abu Dhabi, which did, you could argue it won me the championship, but even if Peel had finished P1 and I finished P2, I still would have won because I had that points gap on him. So, yeah, interesting season 4 it was. Peel obviously has come a long way from then as a driver. I apparently have not, based on based on my this season's performances from me, as Ratcliffe is going to eye up a move on Larson before the long back straight, and he's made that move. He's up into P6, possibly eyeing up Myron Peel now. I'm not sure he's going to want to get past, but Larson, all over the back of Conor Ratcliffe. We're going to ride on board with Smith because he's going to have a perfect view of this little battle here. That looked like desync. As Larson gets a bit of oversteer, and Smith is up into P7. The two McLaren drivers getting past Larson in one lap. That is not good for him. Skowski also eyeing up the Alpine driver. Round the outside goes Skowski. What a move from him. He has made that pretty nicely, but yeah. Larson into the pit, so I'm interested to see if anyone else is going to come. I didn't notice Peel has come into the pits. Peel has come into the pits. I'm interested to see what tyres they're going on to. Gotting also into the pits. Peel on the hard compound tyres now. Larson onto the mediums. And Gotting also onto the hard compound tyres. Nicolaides in the Red Bull making his Amethyst debut is up into P12 on the medium compound tyres. He's undercut quite a few drivers. And Bean has really closed up to the back of London Schumacher. He's not quite within DRS, but Lund is through on Schumacher coming to the end of Sector 2. Maybe these two will want to pit this lap. Who knows? Prank coming up to the back of Bean as well. He's gained a bit on him, but this is where they're going to gain the most amount of time on the front two on those old soft compound tyres. 12 lap old tyres for everyone all the way down to Kisiel in P8. Everyone else has pitted, and Molo, as of now, is past Peel and is net P1? No. As we see Lund, Schumacher and Bean and Prank. What will Conor Ratcliffe do? He's also into the pits. What about Skowski, who's got past Smith? I did not see that. He stays out. Smith stays out. Kisiel runs wide, but he is going to stay out as well. As we look to see Molo, will he come out ahead of the AlphaTauri driver of Leo Lund and Sven Schumacher in the Haas? And Kisiel, Smith and Skowski are through. Skowski as of now is leading the race, but Molo has made up many positions. He's past Prank, and he is going to look to gain on Bean, Schumacher and Lund in this first sector now on those warmed up tyres, whereas the rest are on cold tyres. And Bean, Schumacher and Lund having to slot in behind Kisiel, Smith and Skowski. Will Kisiel play the team game, let Lund through, and he does, but hold up Schumacher, Bean and Molo? Because that is what I would want my teammate to do. And it looks like Kisiel is trying to do that, as him and Schumacher are side by side, but Kisiel defends that inside line from Schumacher. They're going to go side by side, but Schumacher round the outside on Kisiel. He's made that move pretty easily, as Larson is up into P9 past Peel. Note they are going side by side. There's more contact. Peel is almost forced off the road. We've got a terrible camera angle for this. But there looked to be a lot of contact between Peel and the Alpine driver. There's more contact as Larson goes off the track after Peel blatantly hits him and forces him off. I can assure you Peel is not happy with Larson now. And does Peel have damage? Yes, he does. He's into the pit. Peel appears to have damage, so that is his race pretty much over. As Lund is through on Schumacher and Peel has retired from this session. His race is absolutely over, as Ratcliffe is going to look to get past Nicoladis on those hard compound tyres, with Nicoladis being on the medium compound tyres. Nicoladis in his debut is in P9. He's in the points, which is not something a lot of people can say. Smith gets a 3-second time penalty, but how will that affect his race towards the end of lap 28, which is of course the final lap? And Rank is through on Kvyat pretty easily. Kvyat struggling on those 14-lap-old hards compared to everybody else on the fresh compound tyres. Bean has dropped off the back of Schumacher and Lund. Well, it looks like Schumacher and Lund are doing a... as Peel's car parks up. Thought somebody had spun there. But it looks like Lund and Schumacher are doing a soft medium strategy here in Kota. Have a look then. There's not a lot going on. Everybody has a bit of a gap, and that is Harrington, who has slowed right down. What's happened to him? I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. Oh my. That was a lot of weaving. Maybe to say thank you, but Skowski is finally into the pit. He's onto the medium compound tyre. What position will he come out in? I can imagine it's out of the points. He comes out of the pit, and Gotting and Smith go through. New Ferrari livery, looking pretty decent, as Ratcliffe is through on the Red Bull driver of Nicoladis. He's up into P7. He has Larson ahead of him, and Bean, Bean, he gets a 3-second time penalty with Prank 8/10 behind him, so he is in that 3-second time limit. Molo also with a penalty in P5, so he'll most likely drop behind Larson in the Alpine, as Lund is overtaken by Schumacher into the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3. We go with these two doing pretty decently, must be said, compared to the rest of the field. Being the next one along is dropping off the back of these two quite rapidly, it can be said, on those hard compound tyres. They are going to be better towards the end of the race than my season 6 champ. As I believe that was it Schumacher that set the fastest lap of the race. God, this is a snoozer. Someone battle, someone crash out so we have a safety car at least. Please let it be Rank. Or Conor Ratcliffe. That would be quite amusing actually. Let's stick on board with these two. Because I think at the moment, as of now, these are the closest two together, and they're just... I may or may not have done. What do you mean, Rolf? And Harrington has retired from the session in the pits. He feels his race is over, so he's not going to continue with it. He's not going to continue the pain, as we see Rank and Bean just behind. We're actually going to switch to these two, because this is more interesting. Pasley Waspers. Who's Pasley Waspers? rank sitting 7/10 behind behind Bean. Well, he want to make a move. I'm just going to move that so it's a bit more visible. There we go. There we go. It is very boring. It'd be a lot better if Bean sideswiped rank and killed him. Or Molo sideswiped Fansley Claspers. I only know Kesley Waspers. Ah. Oh, that was a pretty nice JD and Coke, actually. I don't know that fella. Kesley Waspers, you don't know him. It sounds a bit like this. I think it was pretty good. The race went pretty well. With a bit of a high-pitched voice. Dutch accent, because he's Dutch. Whoa, sir! Balaj leads the session after retiring very early on in this race. Lap 1, I think it was. Oh god, there's nothing happening at all. Rank is getting a bit closer to being lap by lap. So maybe he'll want to make a move on him as Smith goes through on Nicolaides before turn 1, Gotting back up into different. Did Kesley do a different impression of Ronha? He did a different type of impression. He actually became Ronha. We're going to switch back to Bean and Prank. Will Prank have a look at a move on Bean, quite possibly? Not by the looks of it. He is looking to make a move, though, on Bean. But no doing for him yet, as Gotting also gets packed. Nicolaides. I can't say his name, man. Nicolaides. I imagine he's Greek. Before the end of Sector 2. I need to know my corner numbers. Probably have like a track map on a notebook. It is a sick name, to be fair, Nicolaides. Van Loon, though. Oh! Oh, that is the entertainment we needed as Skowski absolutely destroys the rear end of Nicolaides there. Talking about the Greek man, he is spun round and dropped down to be alone. My god. That was a very high speed collision. And not too great from Skowski there. Not the best racing from him. Does Skowski have damage? No, he does not, by the looks of it. Please don't clip that. I've just realised what I actually said. So no one clip that in Twitch, please. I appreciate it. Nicolaides does get a 3-second time penalty. His race just gets worse and worse. Skowski in the final points playing position. I'm not sure he's going to keep that for very long. I did not. I don't actually, believe it or not. I'm not a neek, Rolf. Yeah, I'm not a neek, Rolf. So I don't watch like PSGL and WOR unless he was racing in this league, which I highly doubt. Well, I'm not a neek. No, I'm a moron. I'll give you that, but I'm not a neek. As Smith on the better medium tyres, with Molo on the 11-lap-old hard compound tyres, is not doing too well, it can be said. He's dropping off the back of Conor Ratcliffe, and that is pretty bad, if I do say so myself. Smith pulls to the inside, into turn 1 we go. And it's a double move because it's Skalski on Gotting as well. A bit further back in that Ferrari special livery. I'm going to switch back to these two. Gotting gets oversteer. He's not able to stick with Skalski, so he's back down to P10. It seems that the strategy that the top two and Skalski have chosen is a bit better than the rest. As Molo gets another 3-second time penalty. That's not ideal for him as Lund is back past Sven Schumacher on lap 21. I don't know what to say. Bean and Rank not too far apart once again. Rank is closed back up to Bean in the Mercedes. I've actually just noticed his helmet. It looks very good and matches the Petronas colour very, very well. Look at that. It's very, very nice. The Mercedes car. Let's have a look at Rank's. What is Rank's helmet looking like? It's black. It's black. Wow. Way to kill the party. Just plain black. Couldn't have had anything else other than black, could you? Like a nice blue, maybe a white. But no, it's just plain black. Killjoy. Larson, back up to P5. Is he running? He's running the Verstappen helmet. Yeah, we don't like Larson. Conor Ratcliffe, what about him? We have seen his helmet, and we did mention it earlier. It does look fantastic. This is very boring, I must admit. Because Edward does get a 3-second penalty down in P13. He did not have the best starts to this race. So not too good for him. I believe he had contact with Larson. It was. He had a pretty decent start, but not the best race. Well, Smith. Let's have a look at all the helmets. Smith, similar helmet to Conor Ratcliffe, and it does look pretty decent actually. About Molo, same colour combo. How does it go? It doesn't really go with the Alfa Romeo. Larson decided to crash into me. Yeah, we did see that. We didn't get a very good camera angle though, so maybe send it in a report, and should be all right. What about Skalski's helmet? What's this looking like? Yellow and green and purple. Right. Well, it doesn't really go with the Ferrari, but it's a helmet nonetheless. I actually haven't had a look. Lund has got the yellow and the golden green helmet. Maybe a tribute to Ayrton Senna. With our newest effort. Well, Rolf, I did that this week because I actually got everyone to work. So, yeah, you are correct. But who knew? All you needed was me. Sven Schumacher not being able to get past. So no. I know you didn't mean it as an attack. I was just saying. It was a disaster, yeah, because you didn't have me in the FIA. You kicked me out. Remember that? I mean, it was a completely fair and just reason, but still. Dirtbags. Anyway, please don't. I beg. I'm on the verge of kicking you out again. Hey, you'd have no commentator. You wouldn't be happy with that, would you? Oh, God. Exactly. Yeah. Calm it down, sunshine. Calm it down. 5 laps to go in this race. Leon leads Sven Schumacher. Why is this so boring? Because no one's making any moves. Their tyre strategies are so different. They're not actually capable of making moves. You'd rather have Google VoiceOver do commentary. Oh, you're quitting F1 and going to iRacing. Monk's going to be very happy about that. What do you mean? Yeah, it was very harsh. As Lund lets Schumacher pass as Gotting gets another 3-second time penalty. It was very harsh, Rolf. There was no need for that. I'm trying... What do you mean you want Luke? I can give you Luke if you... Meanwhile, further back, Rank is battling it out with Bean. 8/10 separate these two. I mean, that we all agree with. Well, why would you want Luke if you have me? Oh, I understand you. He's more likeable. And not annoying. And mature. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I actually do agree with you for once. Yeah. Good God, someone make a move. Hey, Rolf, I've been nice to you. I could have been a cunt to you. Okay, I could have been more of a cunt to you. But I've been I've been nice to you. Yes, I have been trying to be nice to you. Right, there's no need to insult me. As Lund gets back past Sven Schumacher. I imagine it's all going to kick off in the final race. I'd have tried to be nice, but now it's war. I wage war on Rolf van Loon, on the Netherlands actually. Ah, garbage people. As Smith and Molo attempting to go side by side. End of that long back straight. Skowski eyeing up a move. I'd imagine. He never gave me the Season 4 title. Peel's incompetence in Brazil did that. And Dirk's incompetence with Peel did that. 3 laps to go. It's almost... I don't know if Peel's still in the chat. Are you still here, Peel? Oh, you're going to download the brake settings? I think he's going to download the brake settings. I'm going to give you brake settings. You want them? Season 4 Spain. Don't remind me of that race. That was painful. It was very painful. Oh. It's almost over, and Rank is battling with Bean. We've actually got a bit of action in the final sector. Bean and Prank. There is a bit of contact between the Williams driver and the Mercedes driver. Rank just sitting behind Bean for now. He knows he's got 2 more laps to make a move, so there's no real rush for him. Smith and Smith and Skowski get past Molo and are currently having a little bit of a scuffle themselves. Skowski in that special livery Ferrari, looking to get past the McLaren driver, Conor Ratcliffe's teammate and bum buddy, some would say. But 2 more laps to go. Will we see Leo Lund and Sven Schumacher have a nice little battle. Sven Schumacher sitting on 100% ERS, and so is Leo Lund. Bean sitting on about, what is he sitting on? 24%, I think that is. With rank just behind, with a lot more ERS than Mr. Subin over there. With Larson, he is gaining, but is he gaining enough on the two drivers? Here down the back straight, and Kvyat, back marker of AlphaTauri, possibly helping out his teammate. No, he lets them both through. There is no team play there, as Kvyat is a back marker, but he is on the soft compound tyre, so maybe he'll want to catch up to the back of Sven, use a bit of DRS, and unlap himself. But he is a bit far back for that, so it is a bit far-fetched. But Skalski up into P7 past Smith. The McLaren driver is only 3/10 behind him now, but the final lap of the race, Lund has got the championship riding on this. Schumacher has got a race win riding on this. As long as Lund does not have a collision and does not drop below P4, he wins. He wins the title here today in Kota. If I'm not mistaken, that is what I'm told by Ice Cream. If it is untrue, I will absolutely destroy you. Is there a 50-point gap to Peter? Ice Cream. Or will there be if he wins? I'd have to imagine so, right? But down the back straight we come. Sven Schumacher, 5/10 behind Leo Lund. He's got DRS. He is using ERS. And he pulls to the inside for this downhill braking zone. And Leo Lund sending it back up the inside. These two are fighting for this race win. Leo Lund, even if he finishes P2, it is still the championship for Leo Lund. There is a 59-point gap if he wins, and there is a 53-point gap? 53-point gap to Hans Peter. As Sven Schumacher comes to the final corner, through the final corner for the Haas driver, and he is going to take the race win here in Kota. But Leo Lund, your Season 9 Drivers' Championship, if I'm not mistaken? Ice Cream, are you lying to me? Are you lying to me? If you are, I will end you. No, he's not the Drivers' Championship. It's not the Drivers' Championship for him because it's a 52-point gap. So Peter can still technically draw with him. Prank P3 in the Williams. You've lied to me, Ice Cream. You've lied to me. Oh, is that on top of points? Sprint points. Is it a 59-point gap? With sprint points. You're being so confusing right now. Give me a straight answer. He got 7 points in the sprint. He's got 18 points here. I'm so confused right now. But rank P3. Larson back up to P4 and Bean only P5 for the Mercedes driver with that penalty. Conor Ratcliffe P6. Ice Cream, I don't know if he... I'm so confused, man. I don't know what the current gap is now with Skalski getting the Drivers' Championship. I don't know, Rolf. I don't know what the gap is. As Sven Schumacher takes the race win here in Kota with Leo Lund P2 and P3 for Prang. That is his first podium this season, I think. That'll be his second podium after Belgium. Yep. Right, Ice Cream. What's the gap now? What is the gap between him and Peter now? We're gonna sit here and work this out. We're gonna sit here and work this out. But here is your current order for the race, your current race results. Sven Schumacher, P1, the Dutch driver, taking his second win of the season. Leo Lund sitting in P2 in the AlphaTauri, with Prank taking his second podium of the season. Larson, P4 in that Alpine. He's done well to gain back the positions lost after his collision with Mr. Balaj. Being down in P5. Conor Ratcliffe, P6. Skalski, P7. And Smith, P8. Not bad from those drivers at all. They've done very well this race. The two McLaren drivers up from outside the points. Smith came and he's up into P8. Fantastic finishing position for him. Ice cream man. Rank is on 93, so 50 points. So Leo Lund is ice cream man. You absolute stupid idiot. Jesus. So Leo Lund is your season 9 champion. We'll speak to him in in interviews maybe. I didn't want to send it because I didn't want to sound like an idiot, but now I sound like an idiot anyway. So we'll be back for interviews in a minute. Stay tuned. We'll be a minute. Alright, welcome back for the interviews, everyone. We're going to invite our season... Is it season 8? It is season 8. Oh, God. That race has fried me. Our season 8 champion, Leo Lund, up to speak now. Hello, hello. Congratulations, Mr. Leo Lund. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
That's good to hear. You had a pretty straightforward race with Sven Schumacher there. You two seem to be DRSing each other quite a lot throughout the race. Just walk us through your thought process there.
Yeah, I think he knows that if we work with the DRS, we can get a gap and we can easy finish, you know, without having someone behind.
Well, you've done brilliantly all season, quite clearly. You are you are the
Okay.
drivers' champion. You've bested Peter on a number of occasions. You've bested Sven in Bahrain, and now you've bested a few other drivers that have names that I can't remember. um, but yeah, congratulations on season 8 championship. Will we be seeing
Thank
you
you.
next week?
I think, yeah,
It's good to hear. Brazil, how are you feeling for that?
it's a good track. I just like the quali, but the race sucks.
That is fair enough. It is a pretty decent qualifying track, but not a very good racing track. But well done on winning the championship. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you for coming up, and we will invite Mr. Sven Schumacher up. So thank you very
Bye
much.
bye. Thank you.
Sven, please join us up here in the commentary box. This is Sven Schumacher. Well done on the race win. Congratulations on that. How are you feeling after that race?
It feels good, to be honest, to be back on the top step of the podium.
That is great to hear. You, as you heard me ask, Mr. Leo Lund, you were DRS in the entire race with him. Was your thought process the same as Leo's? You've got a car behind you, don't want to fall back into the grasps of him, so you just want to stay out in front and hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. Like he said, if we just kept in each other's DRS and drag each other along, yeah, no one will ever catch us, and we will only be two guys in front of the pack. So that was like the strategy going into the race.
So, you've won twice this season. Is it twice or just once?
I have no idea.
We're gonna go with twice because it makes you look better than.
At least one sprint race and this one.
Well, there you go. That's 2 race wins then. Next up is Brazil. How are you feeling for that one?
I will see.
Will we be seeing you? That is the question.
I currently don't know. We will see.
Right.
I like the track, so yeah, just see what happens next week, and I will decide if I'll race or not.
That's good to hear. Well, we hope to see you next race. Well done today. Congratulations on the race win. Did very, very well. It was not so entertaining from our perspective, but you clearly had superior pace to everyone. So hopefully we'll see you next week, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. We've got to invite the McLaren boys up now. Ugh. Ugh.
Right, I don't want to hear that, okay? We were both, you know how mudded we were going into this race.
Stop playing the audio. There we go. Not you.
Huh?
Not you. Not you.
Get Smith up here.
Yeah, I've invited him.
I'm not accepting this McLaren disrespect.
I'm
What is
not
this?
either. We were doing 32 like 5s and 32 8s and all that. going to this
Exactly.
race.
You're terrible.
And we got P6 and P8, alright? And I gave you a bit of action, I feel.
No, you didn't.
What? I made like 2 overtakes. Come
It
on.
w-
That's
that
more than
was-
I've made all season.
It was more entertaining to watch you in Hungary. This
Right.
race was absolutely dead. The most entertaining part was watching Balaj take last out.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good race from a driving perspective. It felt like it was pretty action packed, but I guess not.
Well, it's better than what you did, what you've done for the like rest of the season. P5 and P6 last couple of races.
Yeah, it's been good. And guess what? The 2 races where I got those points, Rolf and Swan weren't in the VC with us. Coincidence? I think not. I think they're just ruining my
They're
chances.
they're holding us down.
Holding us back, yeah. Well, hold him. Oh no.
Yeah, roll. Roll
Hi,
for
roll.
Hello.
roll faster. Up.
Oh, I've awoken the ancient one. All right, well, Rolf's. It's been I've missed you, mate. Could have really done with that. I was literally saying, nah, this is no word of a lie. I was saying to Smith that I needed you and Swan there so that we could get some ERS levels in that race because it was tense. It was a tense race.
They were
No,
saying you were
did say that.
useless.
Yeah, I
No,
heard
we
mostly that
won't.
part.
We definitely won't. We would never say that.
Nah, he sent me a very nice message after the race, didn't you, Rolf?
Yeah, I did. I was
I
watching
think-
the stream sick from my bed, and I heard
Oh,
Connor
poor fella.
saying,
Nah, I'm joking, mate. It's all jokes, but nah, it was
Fuck you.
although it was a very boring race, I suppose, from your
It was
your
so
perspective.
dead.
But like it was mainly all DRS trains, I feel, which always are going to be boring. But when you're driving, it's kind of like you need to be pinpoint, otherwise you're going to make a mistake and then lose a place. So that's what makes it, I guess, more action-packed for us. But there's also like a weird strategy, like a lot of weird strategies going on, like people on softs, mediums, and mediums to hards. I mean, me and Smith alternated in strategies, and
Well, yeah, I think that sort of made the race a bit boring because towards the end, everybody had
Yeah,
such different tyre
Tires.
strategies.
did you get my move on Molo?
Which one?
It was probably the move of my like career. I can't lie. It was like towards the end, going into the sector 3 like twisty bit before you go around the long triple apex right hander. Switch back
Probably.
to.
Probably.
It was lovely. But nah, Smith did very well. He did start on the hards, avoided all that chaos on that one, and then
Oh, yeah.
basically just stuck with me. And I believe who was it was fighting with us? There was two people ahead of us. No,
No,
uh,
Scouty was with me for pretty much the whole
it
race.
was like Larson. Yeah, when Larson spun with Balaj or something, he
And
like was
Vigil as
fighting
well?
with Peel. Yeah, that was it.
My perspective on the Balaj Larson incident, and all I saw, because it was the broadcast camera, and all I saw was an Alfa Romeo and an Alpine just go flying across the bottom of my screen.
Oh god. But yeah, like he like rejoined the track just in front of me, and it was right between the two Williams, and they were pretty locked in battle for a good few laps, which I'd say removed our chances of anything more than a P5. But even Larson made like his tires that were like 18 laps old or something by the end. It was like still a second a lap quicker or something than me. It's like a bit weird, but it is what it is. But yeah, like that gap, I think I had 6 seconds behind rank after Larson and Peel had done fighting. So I knew that was basically over, and I was just racing to beat Peel, who had a 3 second. But I think he got damaged and retired anyway. But it's a good team race I feel today. We both
Yeah.
pretty much maximised what we could have done. Stayed out of trouble. I mean, going into the race, we literally thought we were going to be last or DNF because we both felt really slow. But hey, it all turns around in the end.
Fair enough. I mean, even though it was boring from my perspective, I was actually talking to Rolf a lot of the time, who was saying he wanted Luke Martin back, which was. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, sunshine.
I actually think you're like pretty good at commentating. You give more excitement, I feel, than certain
I did
folk.
do I did a Luke Martin impression in the race.
And further back.
And further back. Meanwhile,
further back. That's the one. But yeah, like no, it was a fun race, a very scary race, especially in the sprint. That I literally felt I was gonna die at least 6 different times. But hey, we're
what,
both
because of
playing
your
it
own
pretty smooth.
incompetence, or
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Makes
No,
sense.
mainly because I mean, I think you caught on stream of Gotting like somehow not spinning, but also sideways on track,
Yeah.
nearly crashing into me was
I couldn't.
terrifying.
I didn't see who spun him round. Was it the Nikolados guy?
I think he just spun because he was on the softs. He's on the softs from the start, and by the end of the race, they were pretty much dead. So he came around that right hander and just lost the back end. But I was very lucky not to be collected there. Fair play to him for catching it though, because he caught it pretty well.
There
But yeah,
may
still.
also be a clip of me saying something very questionable that was taken out of context.
I'm gonna go have a look right now.
I'll send you the clip.
Would it be the one called Ayo question mark?
Yes, it would be that one. It would very much be that one.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna try and do this. Hold up, 1 second. Let me try.
And you can. Oh, oh! That is the entertainment we needed. As Skowski absolutely destroys the rear end of Nicoladis there.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it may or may not have been that one.
That's not too great there, is it?
No. You see, the audio doesn't sound great, but the actual clip actually makes sense. Anyway, I am going to get this moved on because Skowski is
Yeah,
wanting to.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, great race. I mean, for the most part, pretty clean, but good points for us.
So-
and, thank you for commentating, mate.
No worries. Brazil next week.
Oh,
How
Brazil,
How are
yeah.
you feeling?
I'll let you go first, Smith.
I'm feeling quite good. You know, it's always a chaotic race at Interlagos, so that will always help my chances. I don't always have the best pace, but yeah, looking forward to it.
I hate Brazil.
The stark contrast.
I actually, it's like probably my least favorite track. I mean, it's fun to drive, but I'm just slow as ever. I'm just so slow there, and always have been, always will be. But same with Silverstone. Brazil and Silverstone, I like driving. I'm just so bad at. Still can beat Fox Johnson there though. But the other, no,
It's just uncalled for, isn't it? It's...
well, yeah, but I mean, it's facts at the end of the day. But Brazil, yeah, is just not my track, and I'm sure you'll get your own back on that from what I just said in Brazil. But anyway,
I just want you to know I'm going to insult the absolute living daylights out of you in the next 2 races. You're
I hope
not.
that's
You're
on
not going to be
stream.
spared.
Did everyone just hear that? I'm gonna get him in prison. He's gonna assault me.
No, I didn't. I didn't say
gonna
assault.
assault me. He's gonna
I said-
assault me.
I absolutely am. You should sleep with one eye open, mate.
Anyway, we'll move this on because Kelsey's
Yes.
been.
Poor
Chelsea's
sod.
arm must be aching by now. All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
In what sense, Connor? That's been that's
I mean,
been clipped.
I mean, you did destroy Nicola's rear end. So.
Right, Mr. Skalski, please join me up here. We're gonna move that on very quickly.
First thing I'm gonna say, I haven't touched the Red Bull driver. He's fine on his own. And
Ah.
second, hello, Alex. Hello, everyone watching this stream.
Hello. That was very polite. So,
I try my hardest.
it did pretty well today. P7.
Yeah, very unexpected from me. Looking at the sprint, yeah, I was very far back. Starting from P16 in the main race, I wasn't hoping for much. I wasn't hoping for much, and yeah, after the first lap chaos, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe there's some chance. Not bringing up too much hope, but the pace was actually good in the main race. I have no idea why. Maybe it's because I lowered the front wing a little bit in my setup. Yeah, I think it was a very good, very entertaining from driver's point of view race. And yeah, still very good points for the team.
I see.
I'm-
So, next
Yes.
up, Brazil.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to do better than P7? Also, that was the most creepy yes I've ever heard. So,
I'm sorry. Brazil, as you may know or may not, it's my favorite track. And this week, I have a free week, so yeah, I will have a fuck ton of time to sweat the fuck out of this track. So yeah, I'm hoping for a better result than P7.
Well, I honestly hope to see you do a bit better than P7. I want to see Ferrari do well in these races.
Thank you, and I
No
think I
worries.
know why.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I just want to see you do well. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. No worries.
If maybe I will be dropped to tier 2, then you will see me do well.
You're a tier 2 champion, mate. You're staying in tier 1. Anyway,
Unfortunate.
thank you for coming up. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you
And
for the interview.
no worries. I'm just going to drop you down to audience temporarily. But yeah, that concludes today's stream, I'd imagine. Leo Lund, your tier 1 season 8 world champion. He's done extremely well this season, and as we've all been saying, he is an absolute generational talent, and he's shown that. Here over the last few races. So he is your tier 1 champion, and join us on Sunday for the tier 2 sprint weekend. Hopefully it'll prove to be a bit more entertaining than today's races. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you Sunday.